We've got to think, what is it? Where am I? What is my thing? What is my magnet that Annie's been talking about? How can I snatch that magnet, be that magnet that people want to come and see? And if it's not working for me, who can I ask for help? Who can I get to look at my content, at what I'm producing, at what I'm sharing? Who out there will do that for me? Annie will do that. I will do that. We, the mentors, are out there for you. Pick one and go and approach them. It might turn out that they're not for you. It might turn out I'm not for you. Annie's not for you. You don't know until you speak to that person. You don't know until you know how it's going with that person and you have that chat with them. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, coaches, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to the needs of you, the practicing natural therapist. We have interviews during the holiday season and business and mindset support each week, so you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in your practice. Don't forget to subscribe to receive the weekly episodes. And if you want to connect with me, always check the show notes because that's where you'll find the links to book appointments and, of course, to join the Academy, the membership group where there's constant connection and community with like-minded practitioners. Now, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. And how the devil are you today? Well, I've got to say, I'm amazing because I'm with Annie. Now, if you listened last week, you would have had some, hopefully, amazing insights because I know I did. I really enjoyed last week's episode. I got to really think about the little subtleties, the changes, and that stepping out of our comfort zone. And Annie was telling us last week about how she had 4 children, she's got the hubby, the job, doing the thing, but she had that desire. It's on the fridge. She had the post-it note on the fridge, right? So how do we get to where we want to be from a post-it note? And to get there, we need that magnetic branding. We need to work to our values, our visibility. What is our voice? We talked about that a bit as well. Not being somebody else, but being ourselves, and that people come to see you because of who you are. They don't come to see you because they think you're someone else because you've copied someone else's content. It's all about you. Now, Annie founded Women's Biz Global, and she's really known for all of that brand knowledge and that visibility expertise. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Annie, because I know that you don't actually need to breathe, and you can share all of that clear brand. How do we draw in those ideal clients, which is where we left it last week? So, get back into that ideal client and that visibility. So thank you.
Thank you for having me back. So wonderful to have the summer with you and all of your beautiful listeners. So yeah, I've had 16 years of being at Women's Biz Global. So I started Women's Biz Global, and the main reason was because, as I shared in our first episode together, I was probably the unlikely success story. And so I then got a whole lot of women coming to I didn't even start the business. I had to start the business because I had other ladies coming and say, can you show me how you became a CEO? Or can you show me how to get onto boards? And so all of a sudden I'm like, I better set up a coaching business. And it was all just women, because I'm like the mum of the year, like with all my kiddies everywhere. And then I ended up having a 5th child. That's a whole other story. And so I had the 5 kiddies all growing up, and they're like going, oh my God, like, how do you do it all? How are you not totally bonkers? Just a bit bonkers. What's the deal? What's the recipe? So I started Women's Biz Global. And so it hummed along for probably about 10 years, and then COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, everyone sort of went to sleep in Australia because we went, it's time for Netflix. We'll just have to wait till the government works it all out. But because I'm Annie and I'm always looking for opportunities and don't sleep, I found the American ladies, they all just went, they went online. And so somehow through there, I got invited onto a couple of online summits. And then before I knew it, once again, choice to take a step to just join it. Like, I don't know any of these ladies. And then went on these summits, and they're like going, Annie, you're so refreshing. I'm like a breath mint, right? And they're all just so beautiful, polished and everything. And I'm like, because it's like 3:00 in the morning, I jump out of bed, was on my makeup, but I'm in my jammies with my little colourful, nice jacket. And then I'm like, I'm really having fun with these American ladies. And my husband's just going, you're so mental. But anyway, I just went, it was a highlight of my day when I was doing this. So I ended up getting on these summits. And what did it do? It got my brand out. Within about 18 months, 63% of my business was US.
Wow.
Aussie, they love Aussies and they love crazy Aussies, right? And they're like, oh, it's almost like, do you know Nicole Kidman? I'm like, no, but I would like to. Maybe we could do that one day. So that was pretty crazy. So my brand got really big and it was just like, and it was a really easy brand. Like, what do you do, Annie? I coach women in business globally. My business is called Women's Biz Global. So tip number one, get a friggin' brand name that is really easy to unpack or it means something, right?
So what about, can I just interrupt you there for 1 second? So I'm mentoring with Geraldine.
Yes.
So when we're talking about business names, do you think people should be having a business name or they use their own name? What's your take on that?
Well, that's a really good question because after having this 16-year journey and then ended up getting a global Grand Stevie Award and doing all this sort of stuff, I then had a moment over the last probably six months or so going, because I had quite a few guys over the years going, oh, well, why are you just doing it to the ladies? I'm going, I think the men are seriously in a much better position. Don't get me started on my feminist journey. But I then went, oh, this is really interesting. I'm doing more and more with authentic stuff. And I'd done 200 episodes on my old podcast. It was a good time to close it. And I went, I'm all into authenticity. I'm all into leadership. I'm going to call my new brand, The Naked Leader. So that's going to be the name of my new podcast. And it's the name of my LinkedIn newsletter, which goes out to thousands of people every week. So that's kind of cool. But as well as The Naked Leader, I've also, my website now, instead of Women's Biz Global, it's anniegibbins.com because Annie is a brand.
Yeah.
And what I found in business, another tip for your listeners, is that 99% of people, they come to you personally. You have to be confident in being the brand or having someone at your business who is the face of your business. So it's not for everybody, but if you can make it happen, it's a gold. And then my business delivers. So everyone goes, I come to Annie, can you do this? Can you help me with that? And then I go, oh, and then Women's Biz Global delivered, right? My team of little people, lovely people, amazing people, helpers, or my helper army, all around the world doing different things. And then I was the face and the liaison and then did the exec coaching. And so I'm Annie Gibbins Global now because I'm a global brand, because now I'm a Grand Stevie Award winner. I need to own that space. I could speak at different events all around the world. That suits. It's like Annie from Annie Gibbins Global, right? It makes sense. But Annie is known as the Naked Leader. Now, for me, it's like a question, which is what you want in marketing as well. Magnetic branding is your topic. Magnetic means it attracts. So as soon as you go, Annie Gibbins, well, who's that? And then you go, known as the Naked Leader, all of a sudden like, oh, is she going to come out in the nutty? Like, what's the deal? I even had a lady on LinkedIn going, oh, what's the deal with the naked? And I went, thank you for asking. So one, it engages a question. And I went, I'm all about stripping back beneath the perfect. My whole brand is about authenticity and real life because I've had the 5 kids and I've done the 3 degrees and I've done it. And I tell you what, if you're saying you've never had those moments of crying on the couch and doubting your self-worth or faking it and sometimes fibbing in front of some of your colleagues to make yourself feel better, you are full of BS, right? So now my whole brand is that, but it invites a conversation and it also is a really good topic. So I'm not like Mel Robbins yet with the Mel Robbins podcast. I could at some stage. Maybe that's my version 3. And that's another thing for your listeners to learn. There's nothing wrong with reinventing. When you've had a season, it's also good to go, when did that see? I just suddenly went, and everyone who knows me goes, are you mental? Women's Biz Global was so like on a high. Yep. And I went, I felt like one of those athletes who suddenly go, what did you quit at the high? And I went, because I feel like I'm ready for a new chapter. I'm ready to grow more. I'm ready to learn. And I want to play around with it. I want to go, once you get used to being uncomfortable in a comfort zone, then seriously, you go to another level. Like, I don't actually have a comfort zone. I just do anything. But we're always learning and growing, and I want to be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. My business seeing clients was huge. I'd employed people in 2019 and I was sort of taking the next step, and I was like, and then COVID hit and I realized I was burnt out, and I hadn't realized how much I needed a holiday and a proper break from all of these people. And so I was already mentoring. I was mentoring and seeing clients. And then I was like, you know what? I'm only going to see the clients I want to see. I'm not going to take on anyone new. I'm only going to have my old ones. If anyone new comes to me, it's because they've worked really hard to get in to see me. You have to jump through so many hoops as a client to get in to see me. Whereas mentoring gives me so much joy. And I was just like, why am I over here doing this thing that I find easy because I've been doing it for 20 years, being a naturopath, I've niched. So I don't get I do get some random ones, but I don't really, because I've niched so well and I've got it set so that those are my people coming and they tell their friends because they've had that problem. And so all the referrals happen. So
But that's the thing, isn't it, though? That's the point. That your practitioners, when you first start, you're so wanting a customer, you spread yourself and you'll accept anything. That's why you probably burn out, because you're just like, oh, yeah, I'll take this and this and this. And then I love the way it's all about what sparks joy, isn't it? That seriously is true. And then you go, what's my favorite thing? Make your favorite thing for you mentoring. You can see it. You just love mentoring. You can see the energy. Even your shoulders just slouched and then I had the other people, right? And it wasn't that there was anything personally wrong with those people, but they weren't your peeps. And it's all right to say that. Like I've got people and go, oh, I'm not too sure about this or this or this. And I go, that's fine, because I'm a champagne kind of girl and you might be a cup of tea person. You know what? And that's fine. You need to go and find your peeps. You need to find your mentor, your coach. All of it is fine, but it's about being aware of that and then niching down and nailing it.
Absolutely. I mean, when I started out, I accidentally got into gut health and I loved it, stuck with it, managed to get everything rolling, got my systems in place. But then all these hormones would turn up and I'd be like, oh, okay, hormones, all right. And I'd deal with the hormones quite quickly generally. So then I got a bit of a reputation simply because I wanted them out of the door. So then I started getting its reputation as being good with hormones. People come to me and I'm like, oh, no, not another PCOS, please, no, no. And then it was just like, actually, I don't want these people. This is who you need to go and see. Here is the referral. And the joy that brought was pretty huge.
Yes.
Just realizing I don't need these people. I don't want these people. Stop advertising to these people. People who have it, stop telling people I'm good at it, please, because I'm done now. But the learnings I get as a mentor, because I do clinical as well as business mentor, and I don't have anybody in America. And there's a reason for that, because of course, naturopathy is different in America to Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, where I do mentor. So I mentor the naturopaths and nutritionists. I've had a number of British nutritionists that I've mentored, and that's really interesting because the training is so different. The way they learn it is different. And yet it's so cool because that's like learning for me. I'm like, oh, wow, did you learn this? Is that the way you learn that? So we're learning all of the time, and having that joy as part of our business is utterly huge because
people can feel it. They can see it in you. You look genuinely delighted. I mean, some people, you can pep yourself up, but people aren't silly. 70% of people have actually done all their research and watched you for weeks. They've watched your social, watched your LinkedIn, watched this and whatever, and talk to people by the time they actually reach out to you. Like that's the stats. We're in a very different area. And so I love this, just segueing onto the magnetic word. I love that. I love the topic of today because being magnetic to me means, not that everyone has to be, it's not about being an extrovert. It's not about just me, Annie, having a red hair or you with your pink hair or sometimes a little bit purple.
It's purple.
It's purple. It's purple. Being magnetic means, I imagine that, say you've got your practice and then you go, I'm your local prospect, right? And I'm walking around your suburb if you're imagine a shop facing. And you go, what makes some magnetic and others not? So there's this whole journey that everyone needs to realize that you've got two brands. One of them is your personal brand. That's where I specialize. And then you've got a business brand. And then ideally you get a personal business brand like Annie Gibbins. And then it's kind of like, it's so close. It's like, oh, well, it's kind of like it feels like the same thing. So that's when you get an X factor. That can take a long time to go. So you've got that, but even before someone finds that and watches that, what is the package that makes you magnetic? What makes people stop even at your door or watch your social or want to follow you or listen to you or ask that conversation? Like there's so much to impact there. It should be like a magnet, which is why we're obsessed with niche.
Yep.
Because you want to be, say you were the hormone person that you didn't want to be. But then you went, oh, you actually did it by default. You suddenly started doing something which you were capable of. And that's what we often do. You go, oh, it's not like you're not capable. Hey, I'm very capable of lots of things. It doesn't mean you need to do lots of things.
Yeah.
So when you then go, so in that time you were becoming magnetic, you were just becoming magnetic for the wrong people. You're like, but this isn't really what I'm wanting. So you then had to do that journey by the sound of it and have a break. Unfortunately, you burnt yourself out, but you have a break. And then you went, now every single thing I want to do is be mentoring with Geraldine. So it's very clear. And then what are you mentoring? And then you specialize. And then the magnet, what's going to happen with the magnet is going to be they're going to watch your social. They're going to listen to your podcast. They're going to see everything, going to talk to other people. And it should be clear, 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 because it's like this reinforcement. And it's such a fun topic. I can talk about this one for a long time, actually.
I agree. I mean, we need to align our unique voice and how we speak, how we sound, how we look. So I was getting these hormone people and I was doing the job, but I wasn't enjoying it. And they'd come to me and they were referring their friends and I was saying, thank you very much. And I have a referral practice where if you refer, you're one of my clients and you refer someone to me, then you get a free appointment.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a mentee and you refer someone to me directly, then you get a month of free mentoring.
Yep.
Group. You join the clinical group. And because I'm like, well, I've known you for so long now that giving you a free appointment isn't costing me really any energy. It's costing me the half an hour.
Yeah.
Because I know you already. I know your health problems. I'm not doing anything new. It's not like a first appointment where you're learning so much about someone. And they're referring you and that's beautiful. And you're like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But then at the end of the day, it was like, oh, more PCOS. Really? I just don't care enough. But it's knowing who you want to be, where you want to be.
Exactly. That's what I learned in Women's Biz Global. That was one of the reasons. I ended up getting just too broad. I was just like, Annie does personal development stuff, business coaching, C-suite, this or that, whatever. And then now, like if you go to my website, anniegibbins.com, you will just see three things. I've got 3 different specific clients. So I'm quite happy to go 3 ways. So not totally niche. I specialize obviously in C-suite, but my programs are called Start, Grow, Scale. And what do I help people do? I help them get started, grow their business to 100K. Then I help them to grow, consolidate, do all those things to actually make sure that they've now got maybe a staff member or 2. They've got systems in place. And then I help them scale unlimited, right? So you could go to 7 figures. So it's very clear. And I'm juggling then 3 very different avatars. But at this stage of my career, I can do 3 because I really package them. But I don't now do all the other stuff, the personal development or this or that, whatever. There's a million other people and I refer to them. I went through what? And I loved hearing you do that. And that must have been a moment. And the first time you refer someone, for me, I can only speak for myself, I was just like so excited that I was referring so I could clear that space so I could get more clients. And then I also felt sick because that was my money that I then had to choose to give away guaranteed money in the goal that I would get more of what I want. I mean, that's hard. I'm just being really honest with that.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you felt that way.
I was the same.
What if no one else comes? What if you've just given away this cash and then no other cash comes in? But that's when you've got to be bold and brave. That's when you go, if I'm going to go all in, I've got to believe in that. Because if you're looking left and juggling, you're always going to stay messy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was how I felt. I see pediatrics. I specialize in pediatrics. I was a pediatric nurse. So, of course, I've got all this background information. So I've created this amazing course that everybody loves. That if you were listening to my podcast, you would have heard all about it through November when we had Black Friday. But anyway, segue there. But anyway, I wanted to see more children. I loved seeing the children. I don't see children now because it's the wrong age group for me as an individual now. I sort of feel that I haven't, maybe if I had grandchildren, it would be different. Don't tell that to my own children. I don't actually need grandchildren. So we'll just keep that one quiet. We'll keep that between ourselves. They can not. Anyway, escaping a bullet there. I love grandchildren, but at the same time, your kids are older than mine. You started when you were 20.
Oh, I started in nappies. I know. That's right.
I'm not ready.
34-year-olds, 2 32-year-olds, and 1 26-year-old.
They're 10 years older than mine. So we're the same age, although I tell everyone I'm only 37. Now, where was I? What was I talking about?
Sorry, I'm very distracting.
The point was that I looked at those clients and I thought, you know what? I don't want to do any more PCOS. I'm actually very good at it. I'm very good at it. I get amazing results. I've had a ton of pregnancies, not my own, other people's, but it doesn't light me up. I'm trying to get them out as fast as I can. I actually load them up a bit too much, too quick to get them off my plate. And I thought, this is wrong. These people need nurture, and I'm no longer nurturing them. I was initially, and then I'd stopped nurturing them. And I was like, no, like we need to move them off to somebody who wants them. And I was exactly the same. That first one I moved off, then I was like, oh no, is it going to be okay? Is this person going to be all right with them? Will they, because it's online, will they be okay? And so there was all this worry about me shifting them off. Then I'm like, but, and I hadn't actually booked them in. They'd phoned me and I'd said, no, I'm not doing that. This is the person you need to go to. And I messaged them that information. I'm still doing that. People will still contact me. And then I'm like, okay, no, but this is your problem. Here's the practitioner you need to go and see. And they do book in. And I'm looking at it going, oh, I could have just seen that client. Maybe I could have just made a gap for them. Maybe I could have just squeezed them in. I was like, no.
It does look like if you do that, then that person would have gone off and yes, you would have been great. Like this, of course you're great, right?
Yeah.
So you've done a good service, but then that person goes off and tells 10 people that Geraldine's, and what's it going to do? If you're good at what you do, then you've just got more people then doing exactly what you want in business, that they're telling people how great you are. And then you're going to get more and more like that, but you're going to stay more fractured. Whereas when you actually go, no, this is what I specialize. I mean, when I work with the orthopedic surgeons, it was a bit like that. Like they were the shoulder guys. They just do shoulders. They were the knee guys or the spine guys or the hand guys. But like so niche, but it's like they've done the whole training. It's like, yeah, I could dabble over here, but they want every client to go, if you're the hand guy and you've just about your hand off with a chainsaw, then you want to go, it's a magnet. So that's what it is. The magnet is that everything about Professor so-and-so or Dr. so-and-so is on hands, right?
Yeah.
And your naturopaths are going to be exactly the same. Like, yes, you can do everything, but just pick a something or other. And if it's a bit quirky or fun or a bit naughty or whatever, like play around with it. But once again, it's got to be you. If it's not you, don't call yourself a naked leader and have people go, what's the deal with that? Because I'm like pretty zany and whatever. And I go, oh yeah, do you want me to take the gear off? Like, I don't care because it suits my brand. But someone else would go, oh, you go, yeah, trust your gut. Your gut knows. It's got to be that when any one of those clients meet you, they go, oh, that's what I expected. So that's when you're going to get brand success. That when they have a vision of something and they get an expectation, it's the same as seeing a movie. You thought, I know what I want to see. I've got an expectation. It's going to be great. I've heard good things. And then you want to go, oh my gosh. And what do you want your clients to do? You want them to go, it was equal, if not better than what I expected. They will be your raving fans.
Yeah.
It's easier to do that when you've just gone and done that niche and stayed to brand.
Yep. And you can have more than one niche, but they just have to be clear. They have to be
got to be clear. And I'll do that. So, if you follow mine, I've got start, grow, scale. So even on my social, it's like I'll do start week and then I'll do a grow week and I'll do a scale week. So I'm speaking. And say, if I did a scale social, it'd be like, hey, hungry, ambitious entrepreneurs heading to crack a meal or something like that. Well, it's not, that start person is not even noticing that ad. Whereas the start is like, have you been thinking of turning your hobby into something that's going to get you to 100K so you can learn your day job? And they're like, yes, right? You have to be like, I'm having 3 conversations for me.
Yep.
Some of your people will be just having one. One is easy. The more you have, I tell you what, you've got to be really good at it because it gets more complicated and it requires more effort. And I generally wouldn't say until you're least over 100K, you might go to 2 things. And then once you're probably 3 to 4, 100K, then you can go 3. And you'd never do more than 3. But free advice on Geraldine's show because, we're besties and all.
That's just it. Like we can have more than one niche within our medical niche as long as they're close. So doing gut health and perhaps endometriosis, because those of you out there who do endo, it's like the chicken and the egg with the SIBO, right? So we have got things that go together.
Yeah.
Right? The chicken and the egg, you bake a cake, you'd always put flour, whether it be gluten-free or not. You'd put butter, whether it be dairy-free or not. You'd put an egg, whether it be an eggie from a chicken or not. You still put in your basic ingredients. So what these big differences and what people struggle with as well is if they're a massage therapist and a naturopath, then people will just be coming to them for massage and then not able to break into the naturopathics.
Yeah.
When they're so very different like that, we have to be able to say, well, actually only a Wednesday I massage and Wednesdays are full. So you can wait for 3 weeks, but actually you have other problems. Do you want the naturopathy appointment? Oh, you don't. Okay. You never wanted to see me as a naturopath. Do I really want to see you for a massage client? Probably not. You're a new one. I've got my old regulars. I'm good with that. So that's keeping the money coming in the door while we scale, while we create, and while we develop who we are to really take on those $100,000 years.
Exactly.
I am going to leave it there for today. I think we've had a really good one. I hope that you've all enjoyed having a listen and you've taken notes and really thought, what is my niche? Where am I going to from here? What can I do to take myself out of a rut, to create what I need to create so that people know me? That magnet is there, that there is, and it's not push and pull. We're not opposing those magnets, are not opposing those magnets, are coming together smack and creating so that you are that magnetic brand that people want. They want to see you. They want to understand you. They want the authentic you. So we're not all going to say I'm the naked person, where some of us are going to cover up with our jumpers and hide behind things. Well, I'm not, but there are people who will. And that is cool because that is you, and you will encourage other people like that to you. Right? Here I am on a podcast. Annie, she's got a podcast as well. And there are people out there who could not think of anything worse than sitting around, like me most of the time, talking to myself, because I'm talking to myself knowing that you, the listener, are not going to hear it for 3 weeks or a month or whatever it is, because I batch, as you all know, I batch my podcasts. So we've got to think, what is it? Where am I? What is my thing? What is my magnet that Annie's been talking about? How can I snatch that magnet, be that magnet that people want to come and see? And if it's not working for me, who can I ask for help? Who can I get to look at my content, at what I'm producing, at what I'm sharing? Who out there will do that for me? Annie will do that. I will do that. We, the mentors, are out there for you. Pick one and go and approach them. It might turn out that they're not for you. It might turn out I'm not for you. Annie's not for you. You don't know until you speak to that person. You don't know until you know how it's going with that person and you have that chat with them. So this kind of takes us into what I think should be our next one, and that is systems and support for sustainable growth. Because here we are talking about niching and we're creating that niche. We're talking about that magnetic brand. But how are we going to create those systems? And we are the support, yes, but how are we going to create it for that sustainable growth? We did touch on burnout before and in our last one as well. And the last thing we want is burnout. And being solo practitioners, we get that, there is that burnout. So systems, support, and that sustainable growth. So I think that's where we'll go with our next one. So it's going to be great. So thank you very much, Annie, for coming and joining us today. Absolutely love having you. There's so much joy going on in this podcast right now, and I hope that you listeners are having a little happy dance, having listened to us, and you'll look forward to the next one. You know the deal. Scroll down, 5 stars, give us a review. That would be lovely. Thank you. So look forward to catching up with you all on the next cast. And again, Annie, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
You are most welcome. See you next episode.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.